At 7 p.m. to order. I think we're missing the. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Copeland is absent. James Burton is absent. Ken Jones?
Here.
Jeff Guard?
Here.
Melina Meyer?
Here.
Ann Schaefer?
Here.
David Allison?
Here.
James Weiss?
Here.
Olivia Carroll?
Here.
That's a quorum of council.
Thank you. Regular agenda. Motion to approve.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move to approve the irregular agenda of April 18th, 2018.
Second. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Any conflicts of interest this evening? Seeing none, hearing none. Communications by and petitions from visitors. We have no guest speakers, so audience comments. Anybody have any comments on any item on the agenda? And I think just for Becky, it will give you an opportunity when your item comes up as the appellant to speak. Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, next on our agenda is chairpersons and representatives of boards of commissions, CCMC. Scott.
Good evening, everyone. Just a real quick update. Several things going on at CCMC. We have actually one board vacancy now, and we're going through the process. The current board is going to be interviewing. So far, we've got 2 candidates that have expressed an interest in filling that vacancy. So at our meeting on the 26th of this month, they will be interviewing those 2 candidates, and then at the May meeting, they will be selecting the candidate to fill that vacant position. So if any of you know of anybody else that might be interested in serving on the CCMC Authority Board, have them let me know, and we'll get them on the agenda to have an opportunity to talk with the current board. We did have our auditors in town last week doing the on-site work for the 2017 financial statement audit. Hopefully it will go much easier and quicker this year because they dealt with all of the issues from the 2014-15 years in the 2016 audit from last year. Probably one of the biggest things we've got going on now is the implementation of the new electronic health record for the hospital. That process was started a couple weeks ago when the company came on site to start doing the discovery portion of it. They've been doing a lot of work. Staff has been doing a lot of work since then, pulling together forms and processes of what we use to be able to get that into the new EHR system. They will be back on site next week to start doing some specific training on, for example, mostly areas to deal with the physician documentation portion, along with pharmacy and a couple of other nursing and other administrative functions within that system. The plan is to have this system go live August the 1st of this year, which is a very aggressive timeline. But working with the company so far, we're seeing a lot of good activity with them on that. We did a couple months ago go live with a new EHR system for the nursing home, and that is going very smooth now. So it's completely in place, and we should be wrapping up the implementation phase probably next week. And that's really going to help us a lot to be able to address some of the deficiencies that we had in our long-term care surveys that we had in October and December of last year. Most of those were issues with our documentation. So other than that, we're still continuing to work on the long-term care components. We did receive notification from the state 2 weeks ago that we are in full compliance with the plans of correction from both the state and federal survey. We are still appealing one issue that came up as part of the federal survey as well. So that's still in the works and will probably be ongoing for quite some time. So other than that, that's all I have, unless there are any questions.
How is the election backed up? I have a question for the backup battery for our
The UPS system, that has been ordered, and my understanding is actually in shipping now to here, and they actually started today working on the site work at the hospital. The local electrician that has been hired to do that has started that process, already has a lot of the equipment and supplies in place, so it's actually in the works now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good. Anybody else have any questions? They said one follow-up question from before. We had asked for a budget detail or a narrative or something. You know, we had talked about what we were going to give for that. It's been several months since we asked for that, and we haven't seen anything in our package yet anyway, so.
Yeah, and I've been working with our CFO on that, and we do have something once we get past all of the audit stuff that we're still having to pull information together. So our CFO's been really busy working on that, and I'll get with him and see if we can get that to you next week.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
School board, I don't see anybody from the school board here. So we'll move along to our student council representative report. Olivia?
The music students traveled to Hawaii this past week to compete in the World Strides Music Festival and to honor our fallen soldiers at Pearl Harbor. While there, both the band and choir earned a silver rating, which is between an 80 and a 90 out of 100 points, and sang aboard the USS Missouri. After Hawaii, we traveled to the Aurora Music Festival in Alaska, where we competed against schools such as ACS Grace Christian on Alaska. The highly prosperous trip gave Cordova its first place choral award in 10 years and the second ever awarded to CHS. The band got third, and we had many kids make it to state. Abigail Allison, me, Samantha Vargas, Andrea Vargas, Amanda Titano, Josie Moffett, Corey Pega, Carmen Martinez Alcalea, Madison Johnson, Brent Mapili, Jason Dadula, Maria Scara, Ria Smike, and Caleb Correa. So if you see those people, congratulate them. The Future Problem Solvers also did very well. We have a strong team and individuals this year who earned 9 awards, allowing Corey Pega, Josie Moffat, Amanda Titano, Maria Scara, and Serena Herschel to continue on to internationals. Today, the NOSB National Ocean Sciences Bowl winning team, in affiliation with the Science Center, the Yeti Crabs, travels to compete and represent not just Cordova, but the entire state of Alaska at the national level for this competition. Congratulations to Maria Scara, Corey Pega, Reed Williams, and Nikita Cook. And lastly, from Ms. Dunn, this year 500 students applied for the Rural Alaska Honors Institute, a program for juniors and seniors so they can take college courses for 6 weeks out of the summer. We had a couple students apply from CHS and are happy to announce that one student was selected for this prestigious program. It was me. I didn't want to read this. Yeah, that's it.
I'm glad Ms. Dunn made you read.
Thank you, Olivia. The school kids can be very proud of their work this year. They've been awarded tons of awards, many state championships, and they've just done an excellent job. Thanks to all of you for your efforts. And also, I saw on the billboard down there that Mrs. Adams got a,
Mrs. Adams was nominated for BP Teacher of Excellence. I completely forgot about that. And she's listening. I'm sorry.
so thank you for that report. Next up is our consent calendar. It's before you.
I'll take the roll here on that one item. James Weiss,
Yes.
Ken Jones,
Yes.
Melina Meyer,
Yes.
Ann Schaefer,
Yep.
David Allison,
Yes.
James Burton is absent, Jeff Gard.
Yep.
The consent calendar is approved.
Next up, approval of minutes.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the March 21st, 2018 council regular meeting. Can it be all in one? Or?
Yeah, all in one.
And the minutes of April 4th, 2018 council public hearing.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, corrections, additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no bids, reports of officers, mayor's report. Didn't give me anything extra to say. He had a meeting to go to, or he's got power folks in town, I think. And manager was out sick today. He didn't leave me anything. Does anybody have a manager's report of any kind?
No.
No. We'll hear from him next time. City clerk's report?
Uh-oh, I better say something, huh? So I guess we've been preparing for the special election on May 15th. Have not received a ton of people wanting ballots by mail. I guess at this different time of the year, I would anticipate fewer of those. But I'm gauging by what happens May 1st to the 14th of the early voting. I'm going to determine how many ladies I have to ask to help with the election. I mean, we might have just 5 for the regular election, you know, assisting all day. But if there looks like there's going to be a big turnout, I might just get a second set of counters. We can split it up and it makes it go a lot faster. Otherwise, we didn't have the BOE, so all that work, Tina is wrapping up and coming up with some totals, and then in May, we will certify
Yes.
the roll, Ken Jones, which is just
Yes.
the total value of the property.
Minutes of the March 21st, 2018 council regular
I pretty
meeting.
much present to you the
It'd be
totals
all
in
in
a few
one.
reports. Because then in June, we'll set the mill rate that goes to the total assessed value in order to get the property tax amount. And then bills, those bills will go out July 1st. Otherwise just limping around and coordinating with Holly to come here for this. So it was great to have her and that training. And that's it. I can answer any questions if anybody has any.
Questions for the clerk?
Oh, you know, can I say one more thing? And obviously, while I've been limping around, a lot of people have been very helpful on city staff, including Tina, who, you know, has been posting all the notices for me and organized all the pizza and helped set up, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, next, we have no course, or I guess we got staff quarterly reports written in your packet. Any questions on those? Okay, hearing none. No correspondence, no ordinances, resolutions. Moving on to unfinished business. Council action on disposal and method of disposal for Lot 4A, Block 5, Northville. Page 15 of our packet. This was an item that was referred to staff a couple meetings ago.
Mr. Vice Mayor, move to dispose of Lot 4, Block 5, Northfield Development Park, as outlined in Cordova Municipal Code 5.22.060B, by inviting sealed bids to lease or purchase the property.
Proposals or bids? I know, we almost always do proposals, which doesn't tie a price to it.
Okay.
Is that what you meant?
Requesting sealed proposals to lease or purchase the property, yeah.
Moved, is there a second? Nobody cares to second it?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Just as for procedure, it's easier if you don't approve something, don't want to approve it, to go ahead and make the motion and second, and then state why you don't want to vote for it, or just vote no to kill it. Otherwise, it kind of just hangs out there and people aren't sure what happened with it.
Can I have a question about
Yeah.
that? Because I thought we weren't allowed, theoretically, if you don't want to approve it or you want to speak against it, you can't motion?
Oh, I don't think we necessarily go that, yeah,
Okay.
for discussion. The motion needs to be made should be made in the positive to approve.
Oh,
As it
okay.
was, and now you're welcome to speak against it, or.
But she was wondering if she shouldn't have seconded it for fear that would look as though she was supportive when she feels, trying to say she's not.
Theoretically.
And that's why we've had people say second for discussion.
Yeah, long as you, I think it will be clear as soon as you start speaking for or against it.
Thank you.
Anyway, make the motion.
Thank you.
First up.
I made the motion so that we could get it on the table for discussion.
Second, have any?
I did too. I'm not in favor of disposing of this lot at this time because of the impound. I could see the benefits of it going out to proposals just to see what type of uses could be used from there. But I don't really want to have other people put in proposals when we don't really have a clear intention of getting rid of the property. And I just think that we have to figure out the impound lot before we decide to sell it.
I think we referred this to staff, so I would like to get we got a written staff report obviously in here, but does planning staff have anything additional to add to that?
I mean, I'd answer any questions if you.
Yes,
Yeah, Jeff's on the phone. Councilmember Gard.
I'd be willing to answer any questions if anybody had any. I don't have anything else to add to it, really.
Does anybody have any questions?
The Copper River Highway lot next to Eagle Construction, that one looked like it was probably the most favorable if we were going to make a new impound lot. But it looks like it needs some work and some money involved.
Yeah, Bill Howard, who's the streets superintendent, gave me that assessment of that lot. It's very rocky. If you look, the DOT right-of-way goes way into those lots. If you look and see where that box is, I don't know if it's electrical or phone, that's in the DOT right-of-way. There's oozing from neighbors onto the DOT right-of-way, so that lot really goes back into the cliff pretty quickly.
And the rock that would have to be removed to make it usable, is that fill rock available? Is it a quarry that could be sold, or do we know?
I don't know the answer for sure on that, what the quality would be coming out of there.
Yeah, what I had heard before when the city sold it to somebody else was that they thought that dirt was gonna be good for fill, and it turned out that it wasn't, and that's one of the reasons they didn't take it out and do their project, was because the fill wasn't as good as they thought it was. But that's coming from hearsay from the previous owners.
Mm-hmm. There's also a lot of bedrock coming up, in order to make a level, flat area. There could be some pretty serious rocking out to get the area flat.
Anybody else have any questions?
I guess, well, just a general comment about the, about the motion, I guess. would be that I'm not in favor of selling it at this time. However, I do not believe that the impound lot is the best use of this lot. That was one of the reasons why, when we moved it back to staff, I was hoping that we would come up with another location for the impound lot. I think that Mr. Laforte's proposal has merit. There is a need for long-term boat storage in that area, especially now seeing the recent council decision on, I can't remember the lot name, but the one that we moved to sell just a few months ago. That was one of my hopes, is that we would turn this lot over to the harbor department to offset some of the losses that they incurred by us selling that other lot that they're currently using. So I'm gonna vote no to sell it at this time, or I would vote to refer it back to staff again, depending on the rest of council's leaning.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I would just state that we're hearing a lot from the public about selling off lands that are close to there, and we're also hearing a lot more about how we don't have a comprehensive plan for this. And I know we're taking, it's on the agenda to get proactive steps for that, but I would also mention that even the harbor didn't really seem to want this lot to store boats on. I'm sure you could fit a few boats on it, but even someone who's in the business of storing it wasn't particularly interested. I don't really see this as super valuable for that, or a good reason to dispose of it for that, before we have a plan.
Yeah, this lot is, a century ago, there was a snow dump committee that the council set up that had community members and council members that I was part of with a former council member, and that was the only snow dump in the area. That was prior to its life as an impound lot, and it was invaluable as a snow dump at that point.
Also mentioned that even the harbor didn't really seem to want this lot to
that got overruled when our snow quit coming so much, I guess, although apocalypse happened after that.
Even someone who's in the business.
So the uses can change, although I agree at this point in time with the staff report
or a good reason
we need to find a solution for our impound lot before we have a plan. Go asking people to spend money on proposals and getting serious about that. This lot is a century ago, there was we'll vote no on this, a snow dump committee that this motion council set up that had community members and council members that I was part of with a former council member. And is this a roll call? That was the only snow dump
We're not sure.
in the area. That was prior to its life as an impound lot, and it was invaluable as a snow dump at that point.
Also mentioned that even the harbor didn't really seem to want this lot.
That got overruled when our snow quit coming so much, I guess, although apocalypse happened after that.
And Schaefer?
No.
So the uses can change, although I'm serious about that. This lot is,
James Weiss.
a century ago, there was we'll vote no on this, a snow dump committee that this motion council set up that had community members and council members that I was part of with a former council member. Is this a roll call? That was the only snow dump in the area. That was prior to its life as an impound lot.
Also mentioned that even the harbor didn't really seem to want this lot.
That got overruled when our snow quit coming so much, I guess, although after that, there was a couple others. So the uses can change this time, although I'm serious about that. This lot is the owner of the
James Weiss.
liquor license. Century ago, there was a snow dump committee that this motion council set up that had community members and council members that I was part of with a former council member. Is this a roll call for options? The only snow dump in the area that was prior to its life as an impound lot.
Also mentioned that even the harbor didn't really seem to want this lot.
That got overruled when no quick coverage, so I said yes, I'll take one before, after that.
No.
So my name is
No.
So the usage can't change this time, serious about that. This lot is the owner of the.
First time since I've had this license.
Since years ago, there was a state address for a snow dump committee that said, this motion council set up
have
today.
questions?
And it was the council members that I was partial with the council member. Is this a rule looking for options? So I guess we should probably get in there. Probably do like this as an impound lot.
Also mentioned that he's
So the usage can't change this time. This lot is the owner of the since I've had that license. Address for a snow dump committee that said their purpose for the I was partial with the council member. Is this a rule for options? So I guess we should probably get in there.
also mentioned that he's
So the usage can't change this time. This lot is the owner of the since I've had that license. Address for a snow dump committee that said their purpose for the I think the motion is fine. Is this a rule for options? So I guess we should probably get the way it's okay for the I think the motion is fine. I guess we should probably it's okay for I think the motion is fine. I guess we should probably I think the motion is fine.
Thank you. Aye.